Topping today's news, Bahamas Power and Light signs a $90 million loan agreement with the IDB. An 81-year-old man shot in the buttocks after engaging police. The Free National Movement calls for a replacement of the returning officer for the Golden Isles by-election, and the Prime Minister reacts to those calls for the removal of that returning officer. This is your JCN Evening News. I'm Jcn Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. The government has signed a $90 million loan agreement with the Inter-American Development Bank and Bahamas Power and Light. The loan will go towards BPL's modernization program and operations nationwide. According to the Prime Minister, Minister Philip Davis, the loan agreement is a major development in the government's ongoing energy reform plans to make electricity more reliable and affordable for Bahamian citizens. He noted that the partnership reflects confidence by the IDB in the Bahamas' national direction when it comes to energy reforms. The signing took place on the sidelines of today's Energy Summit at the British Colonial Hotel. Minister for Energy and Transport Jobeth Kobe Davis shed more light on exactly how BPL will be using these funds.
This contract signing for a $90 million facility from the Inter-American Development Bank will drive a major modernization project that will involve completion of the digitization program, the purchase of materials and equipment to support our Family Island project, and begin working on grid modernization in the Family Islands, and provide for internal capacity building to support the digitization process, and to provide for an enterprise risk management program. As Minister of Energy and Transport, I'm advised that the lion's share of the funding will go towards the digitization program.
For the first time in the nation's history, the government has designated BPL as the direct borrower for a major international loan. The government stands behind the investment with a sovereign guarantee. Bahamas Power and Light has 29 power stations on 17 islands, excluding on Grand Bahama. The Free National Movement wants Neil Campbell, the returning officer for the Golden Isles by-election on Monday, gone. They believe his relationship with the Prime Minister Philip Davis, makes it difficult for him to be impartial. First, there were protests by F&M leader Michael Pintard, who said Mr. Campbell is the election general for the Prime Minister in the Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador constituency, suggesting he may use skullduggery to ensure the PLP wins the seat. On Wednesday, the party's chairman, Dr. Dwayne Sands, noted that the party has sent a letter to the parliamentary commissioner with their request for him to be removed. Dr. Sands says the Bahamas' long tradition of parliamentary democracy must be protected and that recent events undermine public confidence.
We've enjoyed almost 300 years of parliamentary democracy in the Bahamas, and that is something that is a precious thing. But it has to be nurtured, it has to be protected. And if you run roughshod over democracy, it not only has to be done, it has to be seen to be done. And there were many, many serious questions that were raised at the advance poll that suggest that the son of the Prime Minister is not a fit and proper person to be the returning officer.
F&M Chairman, Dr. Dwayne Sands. With so much drama in the air as the official opposition calls for the removal of Neil Campbell as the returning officer for the by-election, Prime Minister Philip Davis, whose relationship with Mr. Campbell is at the center of the F&M's concerns, was asked this morning to share his thoughts on claims by the F&M and their request for Campbell to be replaced because Campbell refers to Mr. Davis as his adopted father.
I have a choice like everyone else. I have friends like everyone else. He is my cousin, Mr. Pintard. Mr. Brown, my mother calls him her adopted son. I call Mr. Davis my adopted father. What I choose is like every other Bahamian. They have the right of choice. No one could say how I act professionally. Because regardless of where I am, I have an oath just like anybody who will even take the Prime Minister's office. They have an oath to serve everyone. And when we make certain statements, I now believe if you take that oath and you read it, I will now be your target. I've never said anything about anybody for them to feel that they will not be treated fairly by me. But when you start making statements against me, if you take your office, I now believe that I'll be victimized. Because I never said to anybody that I'm no general. I know I'm a public servant. I know that I'm from Cat Island. I know Mr. Davis is from Cat Island. If there are events in Cat Island, I attend those events in Cat Island. No one has seen me in no progressive liberal shirt, F&M shirt, or whatsoever. But somebody's choice is their choice. And in the Bahamas, how we vote and who we decide to support is personal to us. It's private and confidential.
The Prime Minister was then asked about the public's perception, as the F&M has said that elections must also appear to be free and fair. They fear that Campbell may have a bias based on his close ties to the Prime Minister.
But that has to do with the process. Guardrails are in place to ensure the transparency and integrity of the election process. All of us have our election agents. All of us are present during the course of the process. And if anything happens during the course of that, they could record it. Once it's complete, you can challenge it in court. Any manner of means to correct whatever wrong they might see. I've not seen anything. There's been no particulars provided to suggest to me that he needs to be removed.
Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Philip Davis. Meanwhile, an 81-year-old man is in hospital after being shot by police last night. Reports say shortly before 1 a.m. this morning, actually, the Anti-Gang and Firearms Investigation Task Force, supported by Police K-9, executed a search warrant related to illegal drugs and firearms at a residence on West Bay Street. Acting on intelligence, officers approached a white two-storied residence and informed a woman at the house of the police warrant. However, she refused to let them in. Officers forcibly entered the property by breaching a garage door. When they notified that they were police officers and proceeded to clear the third floor, they got resistance from the 81-year-old man who refused to open a door in a northern room. After breaching that door, the man fired several shots at the police officers, who returned fire. The man was hit in the right elbow and his buttocks. Police officers recovered a firearm with ammunition from him, and he was subsequently subdued and placed under arrest before being transported to the hospital for treatment, where he was last listed in stable condition. The 81-year-old man has since been identified as a popular local businessman and local business owner of a once popular nightclub on West Bay Street. Meanwhile, during the ongoing search of the residence in the presence of the female caretaker, officers discovered a second illegal firearm along with additional ammunition in the male's room. The 66-year-old female was also taken into custody in connection with this matter. And finally, in this segment, Thursday morning's police-involved shooting of an 81-year-old male is the second police-involved shooting for the week. Police Press Liaison Officer Chief Superintendent Sharia King had this stern warning for members of the public when it comes to engaging the police, especially firing gunshots in their direction.
The Royal Bahamas police officers are trained and skilled officers. If you open fire on those officers and they are in fear for their lives, they will defend themselves. So therefore, do not engage the police.
The latest incident follows the fatal shooting of a male who, along with two other suspects, fired gunshots at police officers following a car chase that ended on Cooper's Terrace in the Camp Road area around 9 a.m. on Tuesday morning. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.